Little bumpy. 400 of a second. That's less than the blink of an eye.
World Cup number 3 for men's skeleton. Altenberg in Germany on a windy and drizzly Saturday morning is the venue. Good morning, everybody. 28 sleds in our field today from 14 nations, 10 rookie sliders and 4 World Cup debutants, all ready to take on what is likely to be a wet and icy downhill water flume. It's very wet, the track, and John Morgan, that means they're going to have very soft ice today.
Yeah, they haven't practiced in these type of conditions. They had a lot of snow earlier in the week. The track was cold, it was firm, it was good ice, great speeds. Vertical drop here, you can see this track from top to bottom. I'll tell you, it is a challenge for the athletes. Flat start. Trektioff, our gold medalist, is back for his first event of the year. He missed the events in North America. He's got the track record at the start, as he does almost on every track. Curve for him. Okay, the Benish curve. Yeah, Matthias Benish, he's the track manager. He tipped over there. That's why they give it the name. Now up here, you have to be so quiet. No mistakes allowed. Now watch this big 3-4 curve combination. Look at this, bang. Big sweeping left. This is the big challenge for the skeleton athletes right here. A lot of scorpions where their sleds come up, hit the take on to 5 right there if they don't do it right. 6, 7, 8, 3/4 combination up here. You still got to let the sled accelerate. And Martin, up here, the pivotal part of the track, the Harold Schodei curve. Schodei, the famous gold medalist from 1994 in bobsledding, an old East German product. And now this Kreisel here. What a change of direction, 360 degrees, 4 G's of force, 2 or 3 different pressure points, and then you got to exit. Whoa, you get through here? Now look at this, a quick right, quick left. Big time challenges for the bobsledders. Then down here into 13 and 14, another 4 G's, and it's not over yet. Still this little straightaway, a little pop up here. You gotta concentrate here, you lose all your speed into the finish. A lot of time lost down here in the women's skeleton race. Martin, this is the Darlington of bobsleigh. This is, in skeleton, this is a track that's too tough to tame.
It has an awesome reputation, this place, like Lake Placid in North America. This is one that coaches try and keep their young sliders away from for a year or two until they're fully comfortable. Well, it's very blowy up the top. Air temperature +8, although it doesn't feel like it with the wind and a little bit of drizzle lashing around. And so the sleds will be on an ice box, ice temperature +0.5 degrees. What we're going to have to start with is fairly soft ice surface, but the refrigeration will be on hard, and that means it'll frost as well. So they want fat runners to stop them sinking too much into the ice, but that means they get caught in the frost. There is Martin Stukurs, one of the fastest men in training, and he will be off in the middle of the top 10. Dave Krzyzewski of Canada, our World Cup rookie this season, one of 10 in the field, will be the first man off the hill. Only 20 of the 28 sleds will go through into the second heat, and that means from John Farrow on down to first-time starter Kyle Brown, they're all trying to break into the top 20 to guarantee a second heat. See the jury there rubbing a little bit of abrasive over the runners, not enough to take the shine off. They're highly polished for minimum friction, but just to make sure, John, that there's no illegal coatings on for added slip.
They also save that paper and they bring it back to a lab and test it for the foreign substance that once in a while does get applied to these runners.
So it's pretty foul up at the top. A lot of wind blowing right across the start area. They have got shades across to try and stop the buffeting on the athletes, because otherwise running single-handed is going to be tough. So here we go. Dave Krzyzewski of Canada gets race 3 of the World Cup underway. Made his debut in Lake Placid at the start of the season. He's a World Cup rookie.
A school teacher. Look at the water. Look at that. He's like going through puddles. And you're going to see a lot of rain effects all the way down the track. And I think he's like the guinea pig.
Yep, 190 pounds and 6'3" of him. He will be carving his way through the ice. The problem is, John, that the ice is even more slippery than it normally would be. And the control is going to be very hard.
I wonder what type of water is coming up onto their visors and what can they do to, because this isn't a track you can come down blind. Watch the pressure points way up high there.
And again, there'll be a lot of athletes watching the big monitors at the top, trying to figure out what they have to do to adapt to the weather.
56.69 is the track record. We're going to be a couple seconds off of that, I would think.
You have to be. It is an icy water slide, 60.09.
3.5 seconds off the track record. Well, you know, in horse racing, they got those races where they call it mudders.
Yeah.
So maybe there's a mudder in the field here that can overcome these conditions and provide an upset.
In horse racing parlance, the going is definitely very soft.
Look at the conduction come way down. Now watch that as a reference point. The DKB logos. When he disappears like that, that is wrong. And then he goes up to the lip, and that's, oh.
The problem is with the drag that the water on the surface is creating, they've not got the normal speed they would have into the Kreisel, and they lack control. Don Parsons of Great Britain, 27-year-old Londoner. Second start draw for him. 9th in the World Cup rankings after the opening 2 races.
Other thing to be concerned here is these start grooves. Now watch where they end. Right here, we see where they end. You see the water coming out of them?
Well, they're going to recut the start grooves after every 5th sled in the heat to try and make sure they don't wash away too much. They are cut fresh every morning.
Here comes the big challenge on the exit of 4-5. He crosses over. That's pretty good.
Not bad at all.
He did no kind of issues that we saw the Canadian sled have. Parsons, he should be the leader at the back.
Among the fastest starters in training. A couple of top 10 runs on the last day of training on Thursday. A little less wavy in the Kreisel, and the exit's good down the straight. 103.5 is slightly better speed than Dave Krachechin. The gaps come down from 4/10 to 3600s, back out now to half a second. Little wild there, 2 pressures in corner 13 he didn't really want. And across the line, 4/10 up, 59.70. Let's take a look at his last day of training. He had a 58.03 and a 58.23. So that's 1.7 seconds slower than his best run on the last day of training when it was cold and icy.
Well, with the best start time, that's one thing. His exit of Kreisel, going through Kreisel, was great. He's on the wrong side of the straightaway there. You saw him trying to toe tap his way through, and then that caused him to be late on the next curve.
Während die Kollegen von der Fernsehproduktion noch mal ein paar Slow Motions einspielen, bereitet sich da oben schon der nächste Starter vor.
They don't make it up very far with these times.
Well, again, you can see there's the lack of speed. You're dragging through water. Matthias Guggenberger of Austria, a couple of top 5 results for him so far this season. The 30-year-old fully fit for the first time in 2 seasons, he was saying, when we were in North America.
Well, we stopped in and had a few words with the Austrians the other night, and they've got one thing on their mind. That's the 2016 World Championships in Innsbruck, Eagles, their home track. It's only the 2nd time that event's ever been staged there. Last time, 1993. And the Austrians are one of the countries that you could see their development programs are starting to work. A lot of young athletes across the board in bobsled and skeleton. Guggenberger is one of the veterans.
Yep. Just 100th away from the leader, 107.6. 67 miles an hour off the Kreisel. He's got the lead, 105 Ks.
Good speed.
10th up on Don Parsons.
108.7 was the next speed. We'll see in 11. 110, 2 kilometers better. This is a really quick run for compared to the other 2 sleds. He might be a half second ahead. Look at that.
He is exactly 4,700s up, 59.23.
The speed. You use those speed clocks all the way down the track, and you can really start to guesstimate the time at the bottom. Look at the crossover here. 11, 12, 13 into this section down here. Look at him. Look at his foot come up a little bit. Might be a little late coming off there. He's going to drift over to the left side. Now he's a little bit of a skid. You want to get over, look at Martin Rettel. Yes, yes, do it. Martin Rettel, the silver medalist from the 2002 Winter Olympic Games in Salt Lake City for Austria.
33-year-old Thomas Dukos from Sigulda in Latvia, the older of the two brothers.
Watch how these guys start different grooves. That's what they do. They great starts. They do everything so correct.
Fastest start so far for Don Parsons, who's in second place. Thomas Dukos just a couple hundred slower than him.
Watch the exit here.
Oh!
That's not as good as Guggenbauer just came down, or Parsons.
But 2,500's up. He's got great momentum.
Look at the form. Look at the feet. Bullet projectile here. 13, lost a little
Great
bit
run
back.
down the straight. 107.3 is good speed into the Kreisel. What does he keep on the exit? Needs to be up at 105. 106.5. Very quick indeed into 11 and 12.
Next marker, 110. It should be 111 the way he's flying on the left right now. 111.3. There's the best speed, as expected from the World Cup ranked #2 guy in the competition.
And 4/10 up. This is going to be one of those wet weather races where some of the gaps between the sliders are enormous. You kind of take a little bit of a gamble. The weather changes the whole time. Every slider will have different conditions.
And look how far he comes up.
Yeah.
Here's the 3-4 combination.
Yeah.
Look at that. 4-5, excuse me.
Exit 4 just a fraction late. Raining heavier now down at the bottom of the track than it was earlier.
Nobody complaining about their visors. We should see when they get off the sled to see what type of vision problems they have. Next time we'll look at that.
Well, here is our World Cup leader, Martins Dukos of Latvia, with 2 wins. In fact, the 2 races so far this season have been a Latvian 1-2. Martins ahead of Thomas.
Again, be very cautious here of getting on that sled. Those grooves are going to get a little round. We might see somebody pop out of the grooves. Look at that. That's
497, 700ths away from the all-time start record of Alexander Tretyakov.
Now, if he gets through here, clean, watch for the takeoff, crossover. Oh, textbook.
Nailed that, absolutely.
Textbook. Half second ahead. Here he goes. He also has this other guy in the field, a little bit back, Tretyakov, the Russian gold medalist. He knows he's going to have somebody in the hunt with him.
108.9, that's 1.5 kilometers an hour quicker.
This is a joke. Maybe the other guys plowed the water out of the way, too. At least, here he goes.
106.6, quicker again in 11 and 12.
Ridiculous. Textbook, come on. Well, at least hit a wall, thank you. At least did something wrong.
111.6. The gap is out to 0.8 of a second over his brother, who has been the silver medalist in both races so far. 58.01.
That's ridiculous. Look at his visor now. They use Rain-X. They use Rain-X. Look at his visor. So there's no, look at the visor, there's no vision problems.
Well, plus it's curved and the airspeed they're doing, you know, they're doing 70-odd miles an hour.
Look how far he comes up.
And he doesn't want to brake.
Look at it, the coaches know. The coaches know. They know. I think everybody else in the field knows to be that much ahead of his brother. 8,200ths.
Well, he realistically only has one challenger who will be starting 12th, Alexander Tretyakov, unless the weather plays a bigger factor. This is Christopher Grothe of Germany. Little delay for the former junior world champion. 22-year-old waiting as they recut the spur. He is sled number 6. They were doing that. You can see the fresh ice just on the sides of the groove where they've run the cutter down it while we were watching Martins Dukos. But you can also see the shine has gone off the ice. It's frosting at the start already.
Well, they got the refrigeration turned up.
Yes, they do. 5:17. Again, that's a really good start, except Martins Dukos and Alexander Tretyakov are in an entirely different league.
There's a good crossover from 4 to 5. Now the Germans, he's down a half second right here, Gauthier, but he's got a chance to put some pressure on for a bronze medal. I gotta believe the Germans got a good chance for bronze medal today. Very disastrous day for the Germans on their home track yesterday. They had the lead in women's skeleton. She had the 7th best time of the run, fell out of the medals, Tina Herman. And then in bobsledding, their local favorite, Kathleen Martini, succumbed to the pressure of the second run. She really didn't have a bad run, but
Just
Went
didn't
from
have the
second to
speed.
fourth to fifth out of the medals.
This is a good slide from Groothair in third position behind the Ducours brothers at the line.
Look at that,
But
third place.
1.15 behind, but that still leaves him 3/10 away from second place. The gaps are enormous.
Third best start.
Yep.
Third best downtime. And look how far he comes up.
Yep.
You know, Ducours was accelerating away into the finish. Look at how low his head is.
Yeah.
I mean, that's called home track right there.
He knows where
he's
he's going.
coming over perfectly. He's trying to come over to the left side to get on the take-on.
Look at the bow wave that the runners are leaving. It's like power boating.
Yeah. There's obviously home track.
This is brutal conditions for sliding. 33-year-old Kyle Tress from Lambertville, New Jersey next up. 7th of our 28 starters in this first of our 2 heats.
Well, he starts off on the left groove as we look down the track. Ducours brothers, I think, were on the right groove.
Almost everyone. I think he's the first to start in that left groove.
German Rookier did too.
5:33 getaway.
Kyle's been down this track before. Now here comes the crossover. Can he do this correctly? No, I don't think so. Bang! You can see he got so late into curve 4, and then he hits the takeout of 5, and then they call that scorpion. The legs will come up, and your time is punctured. And again, there's a mistake late.
Long skid down the straight into the Kreisel. 105.2. Fastest speeds there being 108.
He's going to be maybe 2 seconds back. 102, that's way off the pace.
Normally in a skeleton race, if you're more than a second off the pace, you're unlikely to make the second heat. We could see a 4 or 5 second spread here.
Scratch it, that's the chin on the ice. 2.5 seconds back. That is very perplexing. He won't even make it up the hill. Now, I mean, he's a pretty experienced slider, Olympic.
Look at the river just running down
he
the
didn't
track.
make it up the hill.
Yeah, he's disgusted with that as well.
He lost a half a second on the exit of 4 to 5. Here it is. Look how high he is. He should be way off. Gets the take-on coming over here. Bang. And that just, all your energy's gone. Here's the legs are going to come up in the air. And now it's...
And we're talking the difference of just a blink of an eye, steering a fraction late, and it makes such a big difference.
I said in the POV, that challenge up there, 4 to 5 is... And then what did Ducours do? He came through there like it was a video game.
It could be the defining corner in this race. This is Axel Jung, rookie, 23 years old. This is only his 3rd ever World Cup start. Raced in the North American leg as well. And look at the leg turnover. This guy's got a lot of speed in those legs.
Did well in training. This is a very good start time. This is a very promising German athlete here.
5:02 is electrifying starting.
Here comes the big challenge. How's he doing? Perfect. Great form. Look at his feet. Now, pivotal part of trot. Slingshot effect here into the Kreisel. Only 4/10 back. This is second place.
Good speed, 107.4.
Exit of Kreisel, not good. That tap's going to cost him here. 60 down. Still has a chance to beat Thomas Ducours for the silver medal.
Still in second place. Thomas Ducours is 8/10 back.
Not anymore.
Lost a lot of speed down under the Kreisel.
Now he's looking for a chance for 3rd to beat his teammate.
No, 5th place behind Matthias Guggenberger.
The exit of Kreisel was his albatross.
Well, the other thing is, in these conditions, they're having to make an educated guess on what they're doing with their runners, how severe the rock is, and how fat the runners they've chosen.
And the start, he's on the right groove now, and we're seeing people on the left groove. This is going to be strategy, especially in the second run when these grooves continue to get warm, used. It's going to get warmer. They say the storm's going to pass through here at 4 o'clock this afternoon.
It's passing already. This is Raphael Meyer of Austria. Part of a big sliding dynasty. Father coaches the bobsled team. Brother is a slider. He started out as a ski jumper.
On the right groove. So it's 50-50 right now. the right and left grooves.
Well, it's personal preference. How you start off learning to push one-handed is pretty much going to define how you always choose the groove.
Here's the challenge. He got away with it.
23:35, schon 19. der Rückstand, 23.
7th place at the start.
His brother Benny driving four-mans on this track for the first time ever. A little dicey, but he made it down. I don't think he crashed this week. There's a lot of people in bobsledding that crashed on this track this week. The good, the bad, too. I mean, not just the less experienced people.
Dropping speed now, down to only 8th position. Pinballing down the straight, 108.5. Little quicker than Kyle Tress still. Now up to 7th place, ahead of Dave Krzyzewski of Canada.
2 seconds back.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
1:00:04.
We're talking hundreds of a second.
Meyer from Austria.
Track.
Yeah.
This guy's got 8/10 lead.
Yeah, Martin Stukos leads by 8/10. And then there's a third of a second, second to third.
Look at he's just blind.
Yeah.
But 8 taps. Now he looks up, uh-oh, coming over to the wrong side, taps again. There's a lot of time there. You're going uphill a little bit over a bump, Martin. You can't make a mistake there. The sled is still accelerating.
Now here is the USA's Matt Antoine from Prairie du Chien, Wisconsin. No commercial timeouts for TV during these runs. They want to try and get this race done before the track deteriorates too badly. There's a lot of sleds in this field, 28 sliders.
Matt Antoine, the bronze medalist from last year's 2014 Winter Olympic Games in Sochi, Russia. Start time, not bad. I know Matt has a lot of problems here in this curve 4-5. Watch out.
Oh, very low.
Oh,
He gets a good exit.
Oh, I thought he was going to dip down and get up too high on the exit. He showed us wrong, but boy, he's already 3/4 of a second back. He's going to have all he could do to be a minute, 1 second and a half back at this pace.
So again, some of this is going to come down to runner choice, isn't it? That they've just not guessed right for the conditions, which they have no experience of at all this week. This is the first time they've slid on this track with water on it.
This looks just like his teammate. This could be 1.8, 1.9 here, 108.4, similar speed to his teammate Kyle Tress. So maybe they both selected the wrong runners.
I think that's entirely possible. I don't think they're going to be alone either.
But to be 1.8 seconds back in one heat, maybe in 4 heats.
Well, you know, if it was icy, he wouldn't be even half that gap behind.
Look at Ducars.
Yeah.
What is he? Is he the mutter of the field? Looking up and down in Kreisel. When you see him disappear, then you got to come back up and talk to the roof a little bit. Boy, it looks easier. TV doesn't do it justice.
Well, look at the
curve looks like.
Look at the gaps in the field. 1.1 seconds first to third, but then Groothaar and Guggenberger, there's a nice little tussle for the bronze medal at the moment.
Yeah, there's a little guy, a little Russian guy coming up here.
There's a few that could still spring a big surprise. Well, next up is Hiro Takahashi of Japan. And Hiroatsu in his 3rd full year of World Cup sliding.
13th or 17th at Calgary. One of these, I think it's Takahashi, or 17th.
Didn't have the greatest North American tour, the Japanese men.
Talked to him a little bit when we were in Calgary. Real positive. 5:23 start. Now, it's not bad.
Good exit off 4, but again, like Matt Antoine, 3/4 of a second down out of 5. Again, looks like he's just not got speed in a straight line. There's too much drag on the ice.
Seems like more water in that straightaway, the exit above Kreisel.
Same speed as Matt Antoine, and that's going to happen all the time. The amount of water on the track will change. Some will have more, some will have less.
If he stays straight here, this could be top 6. Not bad. He's hanging in there.
Yeah.
This isn't bad. for him to knock off both American sleds.
This is like Matt Antoine.
He did, 6.
Yeah.
Come on, Casemiro, you have to like that. That's a good run for your athlete.
Yeah, 59.63 slide for Hiro Takahashi. And that leaves him in 6th position at the moment.
Well, down the wrong side of the straightaway. Look at his foot come out, the toe drag. No, I don't want to go over to the other left side of the wall, he's saying. I don't want to do that. You know, so he's going to tap slightly, now get in the middle of the curve, and now he has to enter the Kreisel.
And the deal here is, if you go into a puddle, it'll take away a couple of tenths every time that happens, and you can't avoid them.
Here we go.
Here is the Russian rocket, the Olympic champion, makes his World Cup start for the first time this year, and bang, a new track record.
Hello, he's back. Now, let's see if he can get through here, like the guy he's chasing, that 2 cars. Not bad, a lot of scratching though.
Good exit, but he had to work for it, and he's 500s behind.
Heard a lot of scratching in that curve 4. A lot of toe drag.
Now, how close can he get? Will he find the time back down the straight?
He's going to have all he could do.
107. Martin Stucars was 108.9 at that stage, and 106 on the exit. 102.7. Again, the setup is not good. He is just slow in a straight line.
All he could do to beat Thomas Stucars for second. Now he'll be a second back here. He'll be in 3rd place. Probably 9800s back, or 1.04.
Good speed at the bottom. 1 second behind in 3rd place on the start record.
Track record at the start. And obviously, Martin Stucars knows more about training in the rain than anybody else.
Well, he may have made the best judgment on equipment. He may just have got less water on the track.
Look at this athleticism. You want to be an athlete, skeleton? Come from a track and field background like this athlete, blow the track record away at every start, every place he goes.
I tell you what, under the covers there at the start area, it's about the only place where the conditions are the same for everybody. After that, all bets are off. Now here's the first of our 4 World Cup debutants this year, or this race in fact. This is Nikita Tregibov from Russia. Look at the quads on him. Any idea how he got into the team?
Well, almost popped out of the groove.
But he got loaded nicely in a 5:15. That's another very quick getaway.
You know, we bring the athletes in for headshots. We ask them who their favorite athlete is, but we ask them most importantly, what athletic background did you come from? And all the Russians go, athletics sprinter.
19 years old, he turns 20 on Valentine's Day. So physically, he's a long way from full development. He could end up being as quick as Tretyakov.
But he doesn't have the profile Tretyakov has.
Not yet.
No, while Trekyakov's got the square shoulders and long, lean sprinter type.
106.8, 104.6, much better speed out of the Kreisel than Alexander Tretyakov. 2 kilometers an hour quicker than his teammate. 110.9, that's 2 kilometers an hour quicker than his teammate. He's making a much better fist of the second half of the track. 4th place, 59.14.
So you got 2 Latvians.
So we got Latvia, Russia, Russia.
4th place.
Is it the 1980s again?
Well, there's a little story about the Latvians and Russians after last year's Olympics. A little media frenzy up there in Latvia. Look at the eyes. Head way down. Toe tap to get over on the take-on. It's pretty good.
Nice run from Nikita Tregibov. Martins and Thomas Dukurs 1-2. Alexander Tretyakov, Nikita Tregibov 3-4. Then Germany's Christopher Grother in 5th. But what can this young man do? Kilian von Schleinitz from Bavaria. We head to his home track next week at Koenigsee. Another World Cup rookie made his debut in Lake Placid just a month ago.
Oh, out of the grooves.
Pops out of the groove.
Listen,
the coach didn't even see it. He would walked away already.
Well, he's looking at the monitor, but we saw the previous sled. The Russian almost come out of the groove.
And he was in the other side of the groove as well.
The grooves, I'm telling you, are going to be a factor. I bet you we see a couple sleds come out of the grooves now. And in fact, I bet you start seeing the jury I bet you're going to recut them grooves pretty quick.
Well, the jury announced before the start they're cutting them every 5th sled. So after sled 5, Thomas Martins Ducos, after 10, Matt Antoine, and after 15, which is the next slider, Son Bin-yoon of Korea. So the Korean will have the worst edges to the groove. 1:02.2. The speeds are really low, but then he had no speed at the start at all.
Considering what he went through in the first 50 meters.
But he did get on the sled, and he might yet make the second heat. Who knows what other dramas are coming our way.
4-5 last.
Well, he's 13th at the moment out of 14 sliders, so he's still in front of Kyle Tress. Even with that start mishap, no wonder Kyle Tress looks so disappointed. And von Schleinitz, well, he knows it was one of those things that happens.
Okay, watch the... Look, he's way out of the grooves.
Yeah.
Way at the top before he got to the crest of the hill there. Boy, is that horrifying to do that, and then you have to get on and go. All you're doing is you have to eliminate that from your mind.
As if your heart isn't pounding enough from the sprint, your brain is racing as well, cursing your misfortune.
You want to punch somebody, but you can't do it for another minute till you get to the bottom of the track.
Next up, Son Bin-yoon of Korea. Wasn't originally intended to come here, but the DQ in Lake Placid leaves him shy on World Cup points. So they're here and they're going to Koenigsee.
Whoa, good start.
This guy has got a lot going for him. Was talking to his coach before the start. He's quick, and he said he really gets it. He really understands how to work the ice.
Well, I've been saying, look what Koreans have done in golf. It's a very meticulous sport, which skeleton is too. Skeleton got a little bit more speed challenge in the 4-foot putts, but Koreans are very meticulous in anything they do here.
Right, he has not got great speed though.
A lot of scratching.
Yep, working hard with the feet to control the Kreisel. 101, that is the lowest speed we have seen, bar none.
This is a bronze medalist from Calgary, right?
Yep.
So
106.7.
Korean medal in Bob or skeleton.
Yep, first ever ice sliding medal, and he comes across the line 13th, 1 minute, 0.30.
1:00.
So at the moment, he's got 2 guys behind him, Kilian von Schleinitz and Kyle Tress. 13th place, and that might be enough to make the second heat. Well, he's not going to be in the medals this weekend, but that's unlikely on your first trip ever to Altenberg.
This is up top, curve 1. He's already got problems.
Long skid, look at that. What little speed he had just evaporated.
That's start time. Yeah. Look at the size of him.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a big boy.
So, we have seen Alexander Chechikov for the first time this season. Now here is his teammate Sergei Chulinov. It's his first World Cup race of the year as well. Let's see how much quicker Chudi has got over the summer.
That was a rough load on there. Again, I think it's related to the grooves.
Well, again, they've been recut after the Korean start and before Chudi. 5:16 getaway, still very quick.
7th best start.
Bit of scratching. Clean into 5.
96.
Now, what about the straight down to the Kreisel? Exeter 9 is really important, gets a good one.
Head down.
Little bit of a squirrel. 106.1, that's not bad speed.
Top 5 speed. Ooh, a lot of pressure there.
Yep, just a fraction late there. High and high.
He should probably hit the wall here. There it is.
Through the puddles.
He made his mistake up there at 11-12.
Yeah.
It's caught up to him 13-14. Once you make a mistake up there in the next to the Kreisel, takes you 200-300 yards before it's over.
Well, you're traveling so fast, you get it a fraction late off Kreisel.
And then you scramble.
Late into 11, and suddenly you're thrown all over 12 and 13.
Look at the water going down the track.
Perfect for a canoe slalom.
Yeah,
Not ideal, though, for this. Look at that.
Look at the way this sled.
Out of the groove.
Telling you, I really think they got to cut those.
Well, they are cutting them after every 5 sleds.
Well, right there shows that there's no way he can run.
Well,
The 19th, you know,
also shows that he might have gone for a really quite severe rock with a very small contact patch. Well, next up, 17th of our 28 starters, Ed Smith from Great Britain, originally from Bristol in the West Country. Lives and trains at the University of Bath, where the skeleton program is based.
He looks pretty comfortable in those grooves.
Former swimmer, so he should be at home.
Right at home.
5:38. I think he was being a little bit cautious there at the start. He should normally start quicker than that. Toe drag down to corner 2 and 3.
Here comes the big challenge in the crossover. He's a lot of sliding there. Sliding not straight ahead, but from left to right, which at the top of the track, you don't want to make that mistake.
1.1 back. It's going to be tough to make the second heat from this. Second slowest speed into the Kreisel. Only Sun Bin-yoon of Korea was slower, and 100.6, that is the lowest exit speed we've seen. Again, I'm pointing perhaps towards the setup being less than ideal for the conditions.
This athlete is way better than this.
It is a little bit of guesswork. Slowest run so far from Ed Smith.
Perplexing for Eric Bernatus,
Yeah.
the American who coaches.
And I'm afraid I don't see that making a second heat.
I don't know. Still could be. I think the track conditioning.
Track isn't getting faster, is it? That's for certain.
Look at him. When he disappears, that's not good.
No.
When you see him disappear there.
He hasn't got the speed to generate the centrifugal force to keep the sled planted, and so it just heads on down into the ditch.
He's perplexed. Look at.
Yeah. Well, and that's going to be a problem for all our athletes, including this man, World Cup debutant Evan Neufeld of Canada. Another first-time World Cup start for this rookie. Originally from Saskatoon in Saskatchewan.
No problems with the grooves for his.
And look at the speed, 5:13.
Good athlete.
Boy.
Good athlete. See if he can negotiate curves 4, 5 coming up. Let's see how does it get on the exit. Come crossover. Not bad. Heard a lot of scratching. You hear that much scratching, that's friction. Friction is loss of time.
Well, the irony of him ending up in a mountain-based sport like skeleton isn't lost when he comes from the most flat province in Canada, Saskatchewan. .9 back, he's in 17th place at the moment, behind Kyle Tress of the USA, but ahead of Ed Smith of Great Britain. And now just slipping behind.
His first ever World Cup race.
And 3.3 back. I'm not sure he's going to get a second heat from that either. But again, the track is definitely in much worse shape than it was for the front runners. Long walk up to the finish area for Evan Neufeld. And again, vanishes. And now it's not that they're vanishing from sight, it's how long they've vanished behind that first wall.
Again, TV does not do that curve justice. When you see it live, you go, oh.
Well, here's another of our World Cup rookies. Barrett Martineau started the season in Lake Placid and Calgary. Another grizzly bear on the helmet. Martineau, 23 years old, from Calgary, Alberta. His day job is a ski jump coach.
Yeah, that was different information. Pretty good there.
Well, you can see the rain trickling across the track, but under the covers, very matte ice, no reflection at all. So you've either got puddles or frost, and your wet runners, like your wet fingers, will stick to the frost. And like when you drive your car through a puddle, you feel the retardation when you hit standing water on a highway. It's exactly what's happening to these guys. Everything on this track is acting to slow them down.
Should be about 3.2 seconds behind. 3.6. He lost 8/10 on the bottom 200 meters.
Well, this is really turning into a start-draw lottery now, pretty much.
Yeah, this is
where
amazing.
you drew is where you're going to end up.
There's no way he's 3.5, almost 4 seconds behind.
There's
no way.
There's no way anyone is 3.5 seconds slower than the rest of the field here.
Look at the water.
Yeah.
But if you look at the field, if you look at the World Cup standings, it's about the same.
Yep, absolutely right. So unfortunately for the guys who are coming late to the World Cup with fewer points and a lower start draw, like Mattia Gaspari of Italy, who hasn't made a World Cup start so far this season, well, he starts inside the top 20, so that's a bonus. Both Italian men have joined the circus here. We've got 8 guys who haven't slid in the World Cup so far this season rejoining us. 5:26, not a bad getaway for Gaspari.
Just look at the flapping of the shades.
Yeah.
You can see how windy and gusty it still is up there too. But they're in a trough, so they're pretty well protected from the wind until they get up on the top of Kreisel. Interested to see if any of them can feel a wind gust up there. Does he disappear? Yeah, he disappears.
Well, he's got better speed than 3 or 4 that we've seen recently. 100, so the first sled in 4 that's into triple figures in 11 and 12. And at the moment, well, 14th, 15th, slipping a little down to 17th on the last clock.
This is where the time just falls away.
In the race. 17th place, Ed Smith, Evan Neufeld and Barrett Martineau behind him, so he's got 3 get-out-of-jail cards to stay in the second heat.
Needs 4 more.
Well, depends what conditions the other sliders encounter. He's got 3 more rookies, 2 World Cup debutants.
Look at him trying to get over.
Yeah.
Look at his eyes. Look at those back.
Swiveling the hips there just to shift the weight onto the knives on the back. There's your leaderboard. Martins and Thomas Dukors, Alexander Chechikov, so far so normal. Apart from that right-hand column, the enormous time deficits between some of these sliders, and that is entirely down to some vile weather. Outside the top 20 now and trying to push their way into the race. You've got to bump somebody to make a start in Heat 2 now. And the first of our 8 go fast or go home sliders is the Australian John Farrow. Well, Farrow now no longer racing with the plastic cast on his badly damaged ankle.
Boy, 21st best start. Going to be pretty tough for him to keep it below 3 seconds at the bottom.
Right, it is still the big problem for him is he really badly broke his leg and ankle, sprint training a couple of years ago, could barely walk for 12 months and is still recovering some kind of speed at the start. 21st place at the moment. He needs to overhaul Barrett Martineau and the other Canadian, Evan Neufeld, as well.
2.7 down. That's going to be 3.5, maybe even 4. It could be. He's going to be the first guy over 4.
Yep. He was in good spirits this morning, but I think everybody was pretty much resigned to their fate when they saw yesterday's weather and knowing that it was going to get worse today. 104.8, not bad speed, but not enough to put him in the race. He's not going to be close enough.
21st.
Yep.
He's first man not in the second heat.
And in fact, he was 0.8 of a second slower than Barrett Martineau, and so much of that comes from his start still.
I see only one other slider, maybe 2, could get into that top 20. There's the crossover, not bad. 11, 12, look at the eyes. Getting bumped around. About 74 miles an hour, your chin inches off the ice.
Yeah, that's when you can keep it off the ice with all the bumping. Next up is our second Japanese slider, Yuki Sasahara. Sasahara with a bit of a disappointing North American trail, only 22nd in World Cup rankings. Needs to really return to the sort of form he had a couple of seasons ago and running up to the games last year.
No problems with the grooves. 21st best start. When you start 5/10 back, you should be, no matter what happens, 1.5 seconds behind at the bottom. And I would think that he's on the way to be another 4 seconds back.
He's nearly 1.5 back, and he's not even down to the Kreisel.
Good form.
Out of Chudai, turn 9, and working hard down the straight. 1:03.5, quicker than John Farrow.
A lot of steering.
He's in the race at the moment, 20th place. Ooh, late off 12.
Straight away, crucial. Just top 20.
Still in 20th place. 1:05.1, that's not too slow.
108's going to need at least 108 to get up there.
Yep. In 20th at the line, and that bumps out Barrett Martineau of Canada.
I tell you, I think that might... I don't know if anybody else is going to get him.
He might be the last to get in.
6 guys to go. It's the conditions are
and
slow.
None with much experience here either.
Exeter Kreisel. 9, excuse me. Look at the tap. Look at his feet. Trying to, those feet act like rudders.
Yep.
Nobody to help the Japanese.
Literally in this weather.
Yeah.
Our second Swiss athlete of the weekend. This is Roland Ardeset. Maria Giardoni had a really good run yesterday in the women's race, set a brand new track record at the start. Laura Dees retook it. Oh, and he's out of the groove just as Mickey Grumberger turned away, popped out of the groove, and he only just got onto the sled. Well, Ronald Ardeset outside the top 20 to start with. And a 5:37 was how the start was clocked, but that was a wild scramble, and so was corner 4. 1.5 seconds back off corner 4, 22nd place.
Not bad lines there. Speed, considering what he did at the start. Some scratching. Speed way out. Almost 5 kilometers plus down to 2 cars.
Still 22nd place, not going to make the second heat. Mickey didn't see the incident, but he sees the end result of that, I'm afraid. A 62.28 slide.
Well, if I'm a coach, I'm up there saying it's all about the grooves. Why don't we give up a little bit of time at the start to make sure that we can get on the sled?
Well, this is where you would sometimes see somebody like Anja Huber go to the double-handed start. When you've seen 2 or 3 sleds come out, you're going to lose more by popping out than you'll ever lose by a double-handed start.
Hey, we said we're going to see people coming out of the grooves in the first 2 or 3 sleds, and at least it shows we're smart, Martin.
Well, I don't think you need us to tell you that. 24th of our 28 starters then, Giovanni Molosano. Works for the Polizia Penitenziaria, the police prison security force. That's his day job. And like a number of these athletes in forces or the police service, very grateful to those at home, I'm sure, for giving him time off, but pops out of the groove.
Yeah, if I'm the coach, I'm ordering the jury to fix them grooves.
Well, the problem is now, of course, nobody starts two-handed, and so actually, if you try a double-handed start, you're probably going to be worse off than if you just use your normal run.
I don't know. That's when you do what he just did in the previous sled, it's sayonara. It's over.
Yeah.
24:09,
So 1:64. That means he's going to be probably 3.9 seconds back at the bottom.
Yep, he'll 24th starter, may well end up 23rd or 24th place. 1:03.1, which is 64 miles an hour. And they should be up at 67, 68 miles an hour into the Kreisel.
So 103.7, that's... So this is probably going to be, like I said, near high threes.
Yeah, this is his last slide of the day, 23rd place. Not going to make the second heat. This has got a slight feeling of inevitability around it, I'm afraid, for everybody who's waiting in the start shed for their turn, is they see that nobody is able to make progress.
Yeah, right there at the top of the hill, right at the crest. I'd definitely seen that groove be bad. I'd get over here in the other groove.
Yeah.
Because that groove has popped everybody out on the top. I haven't seen anybody pop out of the right groove up at that spot.
Yeah. So few use the left-hand groove as they look at it from the start. Let's see if it's going to make any difference. This is our new World Cup rookie, Rhys Thornberry from New Zealand. He's in the Royal Air Force, works at RAF Bryce Norton in Oxfordshire.
Let's see if they from behind. He takes it easy. Look, he's taking it easy.
This is only his second full year of sliding on the Bromley sled. Even so, popped out of the groove as he got over the brow. He was being very cautious, didn't want to end up flat on his face on the ice.
He was cautious and he still popped out of the groove.
Yeah, yeah. And he's done a partial season of Europa Cup, one full season last year of Europa Cup, and then into the World Cup this year, and in at the deep end here at very rainy Altenberg.
Yeah, New Zealander, born in Australia, raised in New Zealand. Now he's in the Royal Air Force.
Yeah, parents came to UK when he was 11. Parents have now travelled halfway around the globe on their way home, and just him and his sister, who's at university in the UK, still based in Britain.
And Ben Sanford, former New Zealand slider, coaching him.
Yep.
Says that he's got a 3 or 4 year deal with the RAF, so he will see him out here.
Yep, he has been given leave by the RAF to compete all the way through to Pyeongchang.
25th.
103.24.
Got some work to do there, Ben.
But you know what? I'm not sure starting where he is in the draw, Ben would be able to get an awful lot further up.
His start time, you know, his 21st ranked start.
Yep. And even being ultra cautious, popped out of the groove at the start.
It's pretty good here. Head's down, but look at the eyes, tells everything.
Yep.
That's 70 miles an hour. Just a casual walk in the rainy park today.
Yeah. Well, first World Cup start from him. Conditions can only get better next time out. Ander Marambel of Spain trains with the Espanyol Football Club. Barcelona's second team. They have a big match this afternoon against Real Madrid that he is eager to catch. Let's see if he can produce a top 20 slide here.
Look at that sled wants to come out of those grooves so badly.
Yeah, but look at it. Oh, and as he lay down that time, it popped out of the groove.
The grooves are not fair. But the last 10 sliders down, every one of them has had some kind of issue. The grooves, and you can see the thing going left to right in the groove. I mean,
and the question now is, what can the jury do about it for a second run? Because they're going to have to cut those grooves really deep to try and survive again.
They go 20 to 1 in the second run.
Yep.
So the guys coming last are the ones with the biggest challenge with the grooves. It could be interesting.
Should we just rip up the form book and throw it in the air? Because that might be what we're looking at. 102.6, not bad speed going in. But again, the track is just getting slower and slower and slower.
Look at the wind, look at the wind.
Yeah, you don't have to look, do you? You can hear it on the camera microphones. 100.5 on the exit, not bad. Is he going to make the top 20? I'm afraid no, not with this run.
23.
And the problem is, every time you come out of the water, you're onto that frost, which is just as sticky and makes you slow just as much. 25th spot for Ander Marambel. 100th in front of Rhys Thornberry of New Zealand. And they're getting further and further back down the track as they
Look at the sled going left to right. Look at it. It's just saying, I'm going to pop out. Everybody's doing this.
Well, he almost made it, didn't he? He actually got his chest onto the sled before it popped out. But it came out nevertheless, and all that speed he put in, it's just seesawing sideways. Now then, making his first World Cup start of the season is Dorin Velucu of Romania. And again, like a number of our athletes, he's been racing in Europe in the Europa Cup races before the World Cup arrived here. Good run from the Romanian female bobsleigh team in yesterday's women's race. Had a really great day here. 5:43 start and went straight, didn't pop out sideways. So he's going to have a lot more momentum than the last half dozen guys.
And the Romanians yesterday were great. Maria, she finished in the top 7,
yep.
8.
Really good run.
A lot of Facebook messages from a lot of Romanians, boy.
Well, that's not a bad run down the straightaway either. 101.7, not great speed.
He's going to have all he can do to get this here. 20. He's going to
22nd down to 24th place. Exit speed 95 kilometers an hour.
He's at a, the draw.
Yeah, the draw hasn't helped. The weather isn't helping, I'm afraid. It looks like the sled setup isn't helping either. He's got the slowest speeds we've seen.
Going to be very interesting second run. I'm going to tell you right now. Look at the Siana patch on the Romanians. It's the old track up in the mountains in Romania.
I want to see the front runners go right now to see what they can do on this track with the no further re-preparation. But not a bad looking exit. Climbs over the brow, still with decent control. But again, look at the bow wave that the runners leave, running through a huge puddle of water there. Italian coach is going over to help. And our final starter in the first heat. Must feel like the rabbit in the headlights here, Kyle Brown. Hey, first World Cup start, fantastic! It's in Altenberg. Oh no, you're kidding me. And it's gonna rain. Oh, what? Well, let's see what he can produce. Final slider in the first heat is USA's Kyle Brown.
Gone.
And keeps his concentration, tries to keep the speed up.
He came out earlier than anybody.
Yep.
So Kyle's from New Hampshire. We had some conversation the other day. He was about the avalanche that killed one of the New Hampshire junior members of the U.S. ski team. Good-looking athlete. Boy, he's going to remember his first World Cup trip.
He's going to try hard not to. Not to let it haunt him. Wow, he's keeping the line neat and tidy, 100.5. And on the exit, 95.8, little quicker than the Romanian we just saw.
98.7. It's 10 kilometers down to Ducars. 28th.
And across the line, 28th place, 1 minute 3.94. I doubt he will ever have a slower slide in Altenberg. If he runs into worse weather conditions, possibly so, but first time ever on the track. And he has seen Altenberg at its absolute worst. It's been a real different week. Every day the weather conditions have been different. He barely even got started before the sled popped out of the grooves. And again, bearing in mind you're running downhill over speed on sheet ice, trying to control something that's skidding away from you. He did well even to get into the saddle.
And it's going to be very interesting in the second run, because that's going to happen to the people that are going for the gold, silver, and bronze medals.
Yes, it is.
What strategy will they use? Conservative, get on the sled, and I'll take my chances from there. This Mr. Ducars, he didn't have any problem with the grooves because he went early.
He was the 5th man out.
Great start.
He will be the last man out in the second heat. Will the track conditions favor him, or will they hinder him?
But he's textbook. This is like a video game watching him come down the track.
He did make it look as though the track was bone dry and fast and smooth.
He's only got an 82/100th of a second lead over his brother, and he can't get the sled stopped. Everybody else can't make the hill.
Well, there is your lead group. Martins and Thomas Ducors ahead of Alexander Tretiakov. Little battle behind Tretiakov for the podium. could include down as far as maybe Matthias Guggenberger and who knows, Axel Jung. 4500s
Takahashi.
in another hour and a half of rain. Who knows where we're going to be? First man off the hill will be Yuki Sasahara of Japan. So top 20 go in reverse order in the second heat. If there's a second heat, who knows what the weather's going to do in an hour.
Look at the
from
trees.
21st on down, Barrett Martineau down to Kyle Brown. Those guys will join you and us trackside watching the action in Heat 2. The storm is blowing here in Altenberg and all bets are off. Join John Morgan and me, Martin Haven, for the second and deciding heat coming up shortly.
It's going to be interesting.
Oh yeah, don't put your house on anything here. We'll see you shortly. Bye for now.
Wait.